we're talking about cells, cell chemistry, and it's not all sciencey here. Understanding how the cell works is super, super, super important if we're going to understand how our bodies work, and understanding how our bodies work is super, super important if we're going to stay healthy and exploit and leverage our God-given ability to heal and regenerate. A cell, which is invisible to the naked eye, even under a microscope, it looks like a tiny, tiny little blob. And even if it's even this tiny, tiny, tiny little blob that we can see under a microscope doesn't really fully give us a picture of what a cell is. A cell is not just a little blob. Yeah, it looks like a little blob under a microscope, but a cell is actually this seething, roiling, bubbling cauldron of chemistry. It's in constant flux, and molecules are exchanging their parts with each other with a precision and an intelligence that is beyond even the wildest science fiction imagination. Molecules are changing shapes, shape-shifting, and exchanging parts at a rate of trillions of times a second. You guys, what does that mean? Trillions of times a second. How can a cell possibly know how to coordinate chemistry at this kind of scale? How could a cell possibly have the kind of flexibility and intelligence and internal coherence and coordination to be able to parallel process at this level, which is trillions upon trillions of times smaller than anything we can perceive with even the most sophisticated microscopes? There's no words in the English language sufficient to express the implications here, but at the very least, we should be approaching our little cell with a sense of awe and appreciation for this iconic example of the mysterious, miraculous, divine intelligence that is what we call the life force. Can we work at the cell level to stay healthy? No, not really. Can your doctor work at the cell level to keep us healthy? No, not really. We can't really address a cell directly. Certainly not doctors or the ignorant medical model of drugs and surgery and devices. But even if we're using healthy strategies, lifestyle strategies, eating correctly, using nutrition, we can't directly address the cell. There's 100 trillion cells. What does 100 trillion mean? That's just a number. That's just a word. 100 trillion. 2 words. 100 trillion. Can't really conceive of what that really means. But if you want to get a visual sense of what 100 trillion is, picture dollar bills, okay? Picture each dollar bill as a cell. 100 trillion dollar bills stacked on top of each other would reach 6 million miles up in space. That's a big number, 100 trillion. You can't address your cells with drugs or surgery or even nutrition. And you got 200 different cell types, too. How the heck are you going to be able to select cells to address? How is it possible via drugs or even nutrients to address a lung cell if you have emphysema, or a brain cell if you have Alzheimer's disease, or a liver cell if you have hepatitis, or a bone cell if you have osteoporosis, or an intestinal cell if you have Crohn's disease? How can you address an intestinal cell or a bone cell or a lung cell if you have a specific disease? You can't. But what we can do is we can address the body as a whole. You guys, this simplifies the entire picture. If you're out there trying to help somebody else, you're trying to help yourself using nutritional supplementation, don't worry about the lungs or the brain or the bones or the liver. Worry about the body as a whole. Not only is this more logical, but it simplifies health and disease. It means all we have to do is address a couple of major systems: the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and perhaps the adrenal system. This is the triangle, the triad, the triangle of disease. It means correct digestion. It means use nutrients that support digestion. It means absolutely positively get on the Biolumin Nightly Essence. It means use fermented foods. It means get on a supplement that can help soothe and coat the digestive tract and protect intestinal cells, something like glutamine, for example. It means use the Z radical. It means staying away from problem foods. It means staying away from the corporate swill. It means staying away from any fast food, corporate food that doesn't give a rat's you-know-what about you or your family's health and only cares about the bottom line. Stay away from boxed foods. Stay away from foods that have commercials where they sing songs and have cartoon characters. These are foods that are going to destroy the body. These are foods that are going to down-regulate and are going to deprive the body of its ability to do what it needs to do. Use nutrients to stabilize blood sugar, the B vitamins, thiamine, magnesium, taurine, arginine. Stay away from foods that spike blood sugar, refined carbohydrates. And when I say stay away, I'm not talking about necessarily zero tolerance, although that's probably a good idea, but just wean yourself off it gradually. Replace fast-burning carbohydrates with protein. Replace trans fatty acids and processed fats with essential fatty acids, the ultimate EFAs, and good saturated fats like coconut oil. Eat eggs. Eat fish. Use whey protein. Stay away from fast-burning foods. This is all you have to do, folks. And of course, then there's the mental and emotional and spiritual strategies as well. Don't worry about addressing the specific organs or the specific glands that are breaking down. Don't worry about addressing the bones specifically. This is the doctor model. This is the allopathic model. This is the drug model. This is the medical model that says that we address the bones specifically. Even if we use, say, vitamin C or protein or calcium for the bones, what we're doing is we're practicing doctor medicine with nutrition. This is the wrong way to go, in my opinion. If you have a body that's diseased and broken down, it doesn't matter if you're taking calcium for your bones. You're still going to have osteoporosis. If you have a body that's breaking down, address the body. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're coming back with more good health information on the bright side. 855-660-4261 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Okay. So we're talking cell chemistry. Cells are little animals. In fact, when cells were first discovered in the 17th century, they were actually called animalcules. Can you imagine what this was like? The first guy who discovered cells was the guy who invented the microscope. His name was Robert Hooke. And he was a glass guy, and he was working with lenses, and he put some lenses together, and lo and behold, he developed this lens that could magnify things, and he started to stick things in under the lens. First thing he did was pond scum, I believe. It was like some kind of pond fluid, and then he started doing his bodily fluids. He stuck them under the microscope. He's like, oh my God! There's all these little things in there. Now, before this, you can just imagine, before around 1660 or 1670, when this occurred, nobody knew that water contained tiny little particles that were alive, that moved around. This was a mind-blowing revelation. And it hasn't been that long. It's only been about 400 years or so that we've really understood that everything that's alive is made up of these tiny little animals. Animalcules is what they call them. Up until the 1970s, in fact, cells were thought to be bags, just fluid-filled bags that had various substructures that were kind of scattered around randomly within the internal milieu, the internal environment of a cell. Today we know that the interior of a cell is packed with substructures, trillions of molecules and various substructures that are geographically located within the cells, within these little blobs, in just the right specific location within that blob. And these substructures, they're called them organelles. These substructures are organelles, and there's many, many thousands of these. They're all densely designed in this densely compacted fashion with a specifically organized geography, topography, with compartments that are held in place in specific patterns. You guys, this has got to be, I cannot be the only person who's blown away by this concept. This is what we're made of. This is what our bodies are made of. And to go to a doctor and get a prescription drug that poisons these systems is the craziest idea. And it has nothing to do with health. And it's the reason why we got more doctors per capita in this country and more drugs per capita in this country than ever before in the history of mankind. And yet we are the sickest culture in the history of mankind because we don't understand how to address the substructures of the body. The most critical component of the cell, the only part without which a cell is going to die, is the membrane, the outside component, the coating on a cell. It's also called the plasma membrane, and it's basically a tiny sliver of oily material that's 10,000 times thinner than a piece of notebook paper. Can you imagine this? Look at a piece of notebook paper divided up in your mind's eye by 10,000 times. And that's how small this little sliver is that coats the cell. And this little sliver, as we've said so many times in this program, that's made up of oils and fats, mostly, is the brain of a cell, the membrane of a cell, the information processor of a cell, the part of a cell that turns the external world, the environment that that cell is sitting in, into all of the various functions of the cell. Via this cell membrane, the environment that the cell is sitting in is transformed into the various functions that occur inside a cell. The functions of a cell depend on the environment that the cell is sitting in. Why is this important? Because we control the environment. By the foods we eat, the nutrients we take in, the toxins we ingest, including prescription drugs, and via the thoughts we think and the feelings we feel. So the membrane is reading the environment of the cell. The environment is controlled by our decisions, if you will, by our lifestyle. The membrane also plays a role as a portal for the entrance of nutrients into a cell, or for toxins out of a cell, or unfortunately, sometimes for toxins into the cell. And the membrane functions as a resting place for hormones, which fit snugly into openings in this membrane called receptors. And these receptors, this interaction between hormones and receptors, makes everything happen inside a cell. It's all dependent on the shape and the integrity of the membrane. Hope you're getting a sense of how important this cell membrane is. And because the cell membrane is composed of fats, any issues with fat metabolism or the health of the intestines or the pancreas or the gallbladder or the stomach or the liver is going to play a role in how fats are processed and is going to affect the integrity of the membrane. This is why we hit fat metabolism and digestion and fat processing so hard on this program. The intestines, the pancreas, the gallbladder, the stomach, and the liver all are super important for the processing of fats. If you have a liver problem, 1 out of 3 Americans has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If you have an intestinal problem, 60 million Americans have some kind of intestinal problem. If you have a pancreas or gallbladder problem, 50,000 gallbladders are removed every year. And that doesn't include all the people who have gallbladder problems who don't have their gallbladders removed. If you have a stomach problem, if you're not making enough stomach acid, if you're not even chewing your food correctly, all of these are going to impact how you process fats. And then you're going to go to the doctor, and he's going to put you on a statin drug. He's not going to check your fat digestion. He's not going to make sure that your liver is working correctly. He's not going to tell you to use essential fatty acids or vitamin E or vitamin A. He'll put you on a statin drug. And what's that going to do? That's going to further shut down how your body processes fats. If you have a problem with fat digestion, you're going to have a problem with multiple systems in the body. Fats, and not to mention, you're going to have a problem with the cell membrane, which is 60 to 70% composed of fats. If fats aren't being made correctly, if we're deficient in essential fatty acids, EFAs, the ultimate EFAs from longevity, cell membranes can become porous, toxins can enter into the cell, and this will disrupt cellular activities. If you're not on your essential fatty acids, if you're not having a problem processing cholesterol, if you're on a statin drug, by the way, the cell membrane contains large amounts of cholesterol help maintain the strength and the integrity of the membrane. Tell that to the next boneheaded medical professional who wants to put you on a statin drug. If you don't have strong, solid membranes, because you're not making cholesterol correctly, you're not getting enough fats, toxins can get into a cell, and that can cause big trouble. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got lots more to say, and we're going to take your phone calls when we come back from our break. 855-660-4261 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue talking about the plasma membrane, the cell membrane, the brain of the cell, and what you can do to build healthy cell membranes via digestive strategies and nutritional strategies, not necessarily targeting specific areas of the body, but targeting the 100 trillion cells as a whole in the body, using digestive strategies and nutritional supplemental strategies as well. We will continue with that tomorrow. Time to hit our phones. 855-660-4261 is our number. Let's go to Michigan and welcome Jim to The Bright Side. Good morning, Jim. What's up, buddy?
Good morning, Ben. Listen, I have a friend whose daughter was just diagnosed. She's 19 years old, diagnosed with MS.
Oh, okay.
Now, they did a MRI. It showed lesions on the brain. They did a spinal tap on her.
Oh, my God. For what?
So what happened also is that her mother also was diagnosed years ago with MS, and her aunt was also diagnosed with MS.
So what did they do a spinal tap? Why did they do a spinal tap on this kid? Just what are they trying to do? How ridiculous.
I have no idea.
Oh my God, the stupidity of the medical model. And who knows only God knows how much this thing costs too, by the way. She probably had insurance that's up in the bill. That's the thing. When we get these silly procedures, we don't realize how much they cost because our insurance pays for it. But ultimately we pay for it via our insurance premiums. Listen, MS is an autoimmune disease. There ain't no autoimmune disease without an activated immune system. And there's no activated immune system without something getting into the body. That's what the immune system is. It's the bridge. It's the connection between the outside and the inside. It's the defense system. It protects us from the outside world. If there is an immune problem, and almost all diseases have an immune problem associated with them. Inflammation, by the way, is the immune system. So inflammation, immunity, autoimmunity, think food and digestion. I did a blog post a couple of months, maybe a year ago, on fasting and multiple sclerosis. Google fasting and multiple sclerosis. Even WebMD talks about fasting helping with multiple sclerosis. I talked to a friend of mine. She's going to be in the program, a sister of a friend of mine, and she'll be on the program in a couple of weeks. She had MS. She cured herself of it. She has no more MS, and she's not on any drugs. How? Using yoga and diet, period. And she'll be on the program in a couple of weeks. I'm not making this up. You guys, this is just logic. So for this, how old is this girl? Did you say 15?
No, she's 19, Ben.
19. It's tragic. MS is a food issue, like all autoimmune diseases. So here's what you need to do. Number one, link her MS symptoms to digestion, to foods. She'll know that there's foods that she has problems with. If she doesn't know, she's got to find them. Sometimes we don't know that there's foods that we have problems with because we've had them all our lives. So that's the first step. And this is always the first step, you guys. I don't care what we're dealing with, whether it's cancer or whether it's zits, or whether it's autoimmunity or whether it's arthritis or whether it's atherosclerosis or whatever. The first thing to do is work on the core of the body. Digestion is where toxins get into the body, and if we have a digestive breach or compromise in the digestive system, we're not going to get the nutrients that we need. Make sense, my friend? Is that common sense so far? Got more to say, but does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Surely does.
Okay, good. So first of all, link her, she wants to find digestive symptoms and then link those up to problem foods and then eliminate those foods. That's always step number one. Step number two is start to protect and patch up the digestive system using fermented foods and probiotics. These are the most critical digestive supplements of all. Probiotics and fermented foods. I love the Biolumin Nightly Essence because it's loaded with probiotics and it's got multiple strains and it has digestive enzymes. That's why I recommend the Biolumin Nightly Essence. By the way, in 2 weeks, or actually next week, Longevity is going to be expanding their product line to include organic fermented foods from a company called Beyond Organics, and I'm very excited about this. Some of you may have heard of Jordan Rubin. Jordan Rubin wrote a couple of books, including The Maker's Diet. He cured himself of Crohn's disease using fermented foods, and he started a company where he sells fermented foods, and he breeds his own cattle that produce milk that doesn't have allergens in it. And some of the products that he makes himself are going to be sold through Longevity, and they're going to be wonderful. They're fermented products, fermented herbs, as well as fermented dairy products. So anything fermented. And probiotics as well. So you're having your friend link her problems up to, or link her find digestive problems, and then link them up to problem foods, eliminate those foods, then use probiotics. Also bone soup, very soothing for the digestive system. Noni and aloe, very soothing for the digestive system. Glutamine powder, very helpful for the digestive system. Essential fatty acids and zinc, very helpful for the digestive system. Fasting, very helpful for the digestive system. Then she wants to start working with the fats. Multiple sclerosis is largely a problem, an autoimmune problem where fats, the fatty membrane on nerve cells is being compromised, is being attacked, if you will. So working on fat metabolism and working on fat ingestion, very important. Essential fatty acids, I'd be having your friend use the Ultimate EFAs, 9 of them a day with foods and with digestive enzymes. By the way, digestive enzymes on an empty stomach can also help with inflammation. Then the Healthy Start Pack. That'll get her basic nutrients, but if she wants a couple extra things to do, vitamin E, 400 international units a day, something called calcium AEP, and that may help with multiple sclerosis, and you have to go on the internet to find that, a couple hundred milligrams a day of that, and then something called alpha lipoic acid, around 400 milligrams a day of that. I'd also be using some extra extra magnesium, which can have a nice relaxing effect on the nerves, maybe 400 to 1,000 milligrams a day. Look for magnesium glycinate. Don't forget about good old protein, and I'd be using maybe, depending on how much she weighs, anywhere from 30 to 60 grams a day of whey protein with digestive enzymes if she can handle whey protein. Last but most certainly not least is the primal panacea, and that is vitamin C, around 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams a day in divided doses, and make sure she's sipping on that Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I guarantee you with 100% certitude, Jim, my friend, if she does what I just told you, she will notice results, dramatic results, life-changing results within 1 to 2 weeks. Guaranteed 100%, Jim. And I'd love it if you could call me back or have her call me back, and you can talk to us about that in a couple of weeks, okay?
Yeah, and it seems to be affecting her eyes. Her vision is getting very bad.
Of course. This is tragic. I don't even need to hear the grim details, because all it's going to do is break my heart. But here's the thing, Jim. If she's really serious about making a difference, she can do it. And there's no drugs that can help her. But everything I just told you, for free, on the radio, can have a life-changing impact on her health condition. And please call us back in a couple of weeks and let us know how she's doing. Thank you for your call, Jim. All right, if you're on hold, hang tight. We'll get to you when we come back from our break. I am Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. Welcome back to The Bright Side. Steve in Virginia, what's going on, buddy?
Hello, thank you. We had a question about, magnesium and garlic as far as the heart. We figure they're, of course, they're very good. Are you able to compare those with...
No.
Say Artivite or this Strauss, the heart drops we've heard about. Are you able to make a comparison there?
No. Magnesium is an absolutely indispensably essential nutrient for numerous systems in the body. There's hundreds of enzymatic chemistry reactions that occur in the body that depend on magnesium. That means without magnesium, hundreds of different chemical reactions are not going to be occurring at peak efficiency. It's ridiculously important, and it's actually one of the leading nutritional deficiencies, magnesium deficiency, because nobody's eating their veggies. Magnesium is mostly, the best source of magnesium is going to be green veggies. In fact, magnesium is green. Whenever you see green, that's magnesium. So magnesium is unspeakably important. It's probably one of the top 10 nutritional supplements that you can take. Very important for relaxation, for sleeping, for the immune system, for detoxification system, and indeed, as you point out, for the heart. Also very important for the blood sugar system, which is also important for the heart. Garlic isn't in the same league, although garlic does obviously have some wonderful benefits, and everybody, if you can handle garlic, some people can't, should be using garlic as a food or even as a supplement. It's just tremendously beneficial for a lot of reasons, but it's not a nutritional supplement. And so we want to make a distinction between nutritional supplementation and herbs and foods. Not that herbs and foods can't be helpful, especially foods are very, very important. But magnesium is a different category provides a different category of benefits. It is used as is by the body. Garlic is not used by the body as is. The body has to digest the garlic and has to extract the phytonutrients from the garlic, which then can be used. Magnesium goes right to work. As long as your digestion is working correctly, magnesium will just get absorbed right into the blood where it can be used by the body. So it's a completely different animal. Now, the heart drops that you're talking about, I'm not sure what that is, but if you could tell me what the ingredients are, I'll be able to help you out with that. What the heck is that noise? Is that you?
No, I'm not sure.
Can you hear it?
I heard a little,
that's kind of weird.
A little music starting.
Yeah, I hear a little music too. I thought, as long as it's not just in my head, you hear it too, right?
I hear it, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not sure what the heart drops are, but magnesium is, I can tell you, is a super uber important supplement. Magnesium, by the way, works in tandem with calcium. So the more calcium you're getting, the more magnesium you need. Magnesium has a relaxing effect on the body. Calcium has a contracting effect on the body. In terms of the muscles, calcium will cause contractions. Magnesium will cause relaxation. So if you're getting a lot of calcium, but you're not getting your magnesium, there's a very good possibility that you could run into magnesium deficiencies. If you have kidney problems, you could be running into magnesium deficiencies. If you have bile problems or you're missing a gallbladder or you have liver issues, you could also run into magnesium deficiencies. Why? Because magnesium requires bile and the fat absorption system to get into the blood through the digestive tract. So magnesium deficiency is very common. I'm not sure what are in heart drops. It doesn't compare to garlic. everybody, in my opinion, needs a magnesium supplement like the Osteomag from Longevity. Does that help?
Yes.
Hello. I wanted to ask you something. This is Rosie. God bless. I heard the other day Dr. Glidden, he made a comment, and I was worried about this. He said about calcium, that some people are having problems absorbing calcium.
Yeah. I don't remember him saying that, but that's true. Some people do have
on his show, you know.
Yes, he's right.
Research and give us some info in the.
I'll give you research right. I'll give you info right now. Calcium requires stomach acid. If you're not making enough stomach acid, or if you're on an antacid, or if you're taking Nexium or Prilosec, you're not going to absorb calcium. Period. Look it up in the package insert on your Nexium and your Prilosec. If you have any problems with acid deficiency, and many more people are deficient in stomach acid than make too much stomach acid, you're not going to absorb calcium. Take your calcium with apple cider vinegar. Take your calcium with meals, in my opinion, or use liquid calcium like the OsteoFX from Longevity. Thanks for your call, Steve and Rose. I hope I helped you. Okay, got to move on. Thank you. Okay, Wally in Texas. I'm so sorry I left you on hold for a really long time here, but thanks for holding. What's going on?
Are you speaking to Wally?
Wally, that would be you. Yes, sir.
Superman Ben. We're on the same page, and that program yesterday was it was beyond words. With Bollinger, Ty Bollinger, it's unbelievable.
Isn't Ty wonderful? Ty's awesome, man.
Beyond that, I mean, he's so real. So are you.
Yeah.
And it's so predominant with what all is going on this day and time, politically and otherwise. When some super guy, you know, like you guys, you know, you just stand totally out.
Praise God.
Praise God, and I'm sure that's pretty good. Okay, let me fire some things real quick here. Okay, I take the Beyond Tangerine. I take the OsteoFX. I'm on 2% nascent iodine, and I also take Interfood with all this. I found this small little place, lump, whatever, by the side of my chest under my arm, and it yesterday, and while I was listening to y'all's program, and I went, you know, it freaked me out because I've never been under the knife before, and so I went out and bought a new rebounder, organic chicken,
nice.
Lemon bone soup, and
you're going all out.
Oh.
Let me ask you, Wally, hang on a second, buddy. Are you saying you noticed a boil or a cyst under your arm? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what it's. I'm putting lymphatic on it. You know.
That's what I was going to say. Is that's where you got a lot of lymph tissue under there, and when the lymph gets clogged up, that can mean some serious toxicity, especially if we're older and that happens. So the rebounder's great. Everybody should have a rebounder. Rebound first thing in the morning. If you feel like a cold is coming on, get on that rebounder. It's a great way to circulate the lymph. Remember, the lymph doesn't have a pump. We're the pump for the lymph. So muscular movement, skeletal muscle movement, all of that is how the lymph moves around. And if the lymph gets clogged, big problems can result. The lymph doesn't only transport poisons, it also transports fatty nutrients like vitamin E, coenzyme Q10, essential fatty acids. All of these are transported through the lymph. So if you have toxicity that's clogging up the lymph system, your cells aren't going to be getting the benefit of fatty nutrients, and that could be a big problem. So keep that lymph moving, and you're 100% correct. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying you're 100% correct to think lymph if you have boils or cysts of any kind, but especially under the arms. By the way, for kids who are getting boils and cysts on their neck area, or in the shoulder area, or in the back area, or even on the face, it's not acne. Don't consider it acne, and don't go to a dermatologist because there's nothing they can do for you. Consider it to be clogged lymph secondary probably to digestive issues, and that might be something you want to think about, Wally. If you have any digestive issues, that's usually where toxicity gets into the lymph. There's an opening from the intestine right into the lymph. There's a portal that opens up from the intestine into the lymph, and if you're eating the wrong kinds of foods, that can cause that congestion, and that's what I would be focusing on. Got about a minute. If you have something else you want to add, Wally?
Okay, yeah, I think that it's coming from 4 bad teeth that need to be extracted.
Very well might be. Very well might be.
That's the next thing on the agenda.
Try some coconut oil. Try that. You ever hear of this thing called oil pulling? Have you ever heard of oil pulling?
Yes, I have.
You might want to try doing that. I don't know how bad your teeth are, but it's great for your breath, and it's great for gingivitis, and it can help detoxify the mouth area. You take a couple tablespoons of coconut oil or sesame oil. I like coconut oil because I like the taste. And you swish it around your mouth for 10 to 15 minutes or even 20 minutes and kind of pull it through your teeth and gum area, and then spit it out, and then rinse it out with water. Don't drink the coconut oil because it's got a lot of bacteria in it after 10 or 15 minutes. And then you rinse it out, and man, your mouth tastes so good. Not minty fresh like Listerine or mouthwash, but just clean and with a very, very slight taste of coconut. And it can be very helpful for gingivitis or gum disease or bad breath or any kind of dental issues. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Wally.
Well, I'm listening. I play your programs on archives multiple times, every one of them. I have got a torn shoulder, a torn rotator cuff, and my doctor prescribed piroxicam and ketoprofen, 20% ketoprofen and 5% piroxicam. I want to call on that. I mean, instead of taking steroid shots, I use this topical. What do you think?
I'm not a big fan of piroxicam. They call it Feldine. That used to be one of the best-selling anti-inflammatories, and also ketoprofen is another anti-inflammatory, like Motrin type of drugs. I'm not a fan. They really mess up the digestive tract, and you already very possibly have digestive issues. After you use your Motrin, make sure you're using your probiotics and doing everything you need to do to correct the digestive system. Wish we had more time, but that's it. Our hour's up, Wally. Thanks for your kind words. Appreciate it, and I hope we helped you out. If we left you on hold, I apologize. Call back tomorrow first thing, and we'll get you first up. Tell our call screener we left you on hold. That's it for today. Thanks for listening, folks. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back at you tomorrow with more good health information. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.